What's up, guys? Big Light here. This is kind of a side note or an addendum to the Jasmine the Barbarian playthrough. I'm loving playing as Jasmine. It got me so into the game again that I started my own playthrough. Honestly, a couple playthroughs that are kind of almost done with the whole story now. I've been playing it like crazy. I remember a lot more about what's going on with the story and stuff because of it. But what occurred to me is that the combat of this game is pretty opaque to a lot of people. A lot of people aren't sure like what's going on. It can be hard to understand with all the dice rolls and everything what's going on. So I wanted to give a tutorial on the combat of this game that starts from the most basic possible principles, but hopefully briefly, we're going to try to be pretty succinct here, but gets you to the point that you're ready for playing this game as like an expert in the combat, okay? So let's start with the most basic stuff. I want to start with these ability stats, okay? These ability points. You see they can go anywhere from 8 is as well. They can be reduced lower than that by debuffs, but let's say then 0 to 20, okay? 10 is the dead center, and for every 2 points above 10, we get 1 to our checks and throws and things. So for 18 here, you see right here, it says +4 to strength checks, right? This is good. This is the important number here with these. So every even number, right? 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, we're going to get a +1 to these strength checks. We're 18 strength, so you see we have a +4 to strength checks, okay? Whereas for, say, intelligence on this character, we're 8, we're 2 points below 10, so we have a -1 to intelligence checks, okay? We would have to get up to 10 to get back to 0, like we have for wisdom here, a 0 to wisdom checks, okay? So keep those in mind. Every 2 points up or down from 10, you add or subtract 1 to these roll bonuses that you get. These are going to come up a lot. We use them for all kinds of things, but it's not actually the number here, the strength. It's this +4 that's going to matter a lot, okay? So with that, let's go. I thought the kind of most interesting way to look at combat in this game would be to walk up here and get in a fight with these guys. And I knew these guys were here because on my other playthrough, I ran into them and I missed them on Jasmine. So we can come up here on her game and just look at this fight and start from the very beginning, okay? So when the fight starts, you see everybody's in an order up here, okay? This is decided by something called initiative. And initiative rolls a 4-sided die, so there's a randomness to it, right? You can roll any number between 1 and 4, and then it will go in here and it will add to that number between 1 and 4 your plus from dexterity, so Jasmine gets a +3 here, and then anything on gear or anything like that that says plus to initiative, okay? Anything that buffs initiative. So for Karlach here, she has this feature called Alert, and you see it says gain a +5 bonus to initiative, and can't be surprised. This +5 bonus will show up in here in initiative. She has the +5. You see here her dexterity is 10. She has a +0 to dexterity check, so she's not getting any initiative from dexterity, but she's getting 5 from having that alert buff. Okay, and so Asterion here, he has a +4 to initiative because he has 18 dexterity. Okay, Jasmine has 16 dexterity. She's getting a +5 initiative. I believe something on her gear gives initiative. Oh, right here, her sword. You gain a +2 bonus to initiative right here, right? You gain a +2 bonus to initiative rolls, so that she gets that, and then she gets the 3 from her dexterity, so she has 5. If we look up here, they go in order. You see Shadowheart is way down here. If we look at her initiative, she has a +1, so she doesn't add much to her 1 to 4 roll. So, for example, say one of these guys, say this guy right here, okay? If we examine him, we can see in his detailed sheet, he has a +1 to initiative. So he can roll a die, get a 1 to 4. Let's say he rolls the max on that. He gets a 4. So he gets the best roll possible on his initiative, and he adds 1. He'll have 5. Somebody like Karlach has 5 by a bonus, and then she rolls the die, which the lowest she could roll is 1. So the lowest she could possibly get on initiative is 6. Okay? This order is just decided by after you roll the die, who has the highest initiative score down to the lowest, okay? So that guy with the +1 and Karlach has the +5, no matter how many times we run in here and randomly roll the dice, he's never going before Karlach, okay? Karlach always goes before him because her roll can't possibly be lower than his highest roll, okay? Initiative will come back up later, but it just sets the order here, okay? We'll bring that back up later when it comes to strategy. It's very important, but that's how it works. Okay, so the order's decided. Everybody gets to go in order. Anytime characters are grouped, you can do them in any order you want, okay? So these 3 are grouped. There's no bad guys between all of my team members, so they can go all together. So I can pick any one of them and do whatever I want. So in the simplest case, we walk up and we smack this guy with our sword, okay? When we do that, we have a damage roll on the sword. And our damage roll is this, the 2d6, okay? So this sword says roll 2 6-sided die. And then we have this +5, okay? For a melee weapon that's based on strength, we get +4 from that. And then you see our weapon enchantment says +1. So that's how we decide the damage on the weapon roll. We roll 2 6-sided die, and we add 5 to it, 1 from here and 4 from this 18 strength that we have, okay? And then anything else that's on there, it will also do. If I was Githyanki, you see it would roll a 4-sided die and add that to the whole thing. Okay? Now, the other piece of that's how much damage it will do. The other piece is whether or not it will hit. Okay? Whether or not it will hit is going to be anything that adds plus to weapons. Okay? You see here that the hit, it's my strength. Okay, so whatever it uses as a stat. So if the weapon is like this, and it says down here, finesse, you can see that it will use dexterity if your dexterity is higher than your strength. So a finesse weapon can be used either as a strength weapon or a dexterity weapon, whichever stat is higher. Astarion has like no strength, and he has lots of dexterity, so this weapon's using his dexterity to decide whether or not it's going to hit and how much damage it's going to do. Okay, so on his, you can see it'll roll 1 6-sided die, right? It's just a little sword. And then it's going to get 4 from his dexterity and 2 from this weapon enchantment on it. So we'll roll a 6-sided die and then add 6 to that roll. Okay? This chance to hit is going to be your associated stat bonus. Okay? So strength for Jasmine. It's going to be dexterity for Astarion here with this finesse weapon. It's going to add the weapon enchantment. So this one has a +2. If we go back to Jasmine, you can see her weapon has this +1 on it. So it's going to add +1. And then it's going to do, it's going to add any proficiency bonus. Okay, so you see here, Jasmine is proficient with greatswords. Right here, Jasmine is proficient with greatswords, so it adds a proficiency bonus. You don't want to use weapons you're not proficient with because you need this to be able to hit. Okay? And then this favorable beginnings is a side thing that's from her headworms. And then the weapon enchantment. Okay? So she's getting 4 from strength, 1 from the weapon enchantment, and 3 from proficiency bonus. And then for her headworm, she gets another couple. If we go back to Astarion, he doesn't get the headworm bonus, so he has his dexterity, the weapon enchantment, and his proficiency. That's the normal way that you calculate chance to hit. Okay? So he gets a +9, and what happens is he rolls a 20-sided die. Whatever his roll is, he adds 9, and that has to be higher than the armor class of the opponent that he's hitting. Okay? You and opponents both have armor class. You can see here it says his armor class is decided by, he gets 10 base. He gets 3, he has a spell on called Mage Armor that adds 3. And he has 4 from dexterity. In general, your armor class is going to be whatever is on your armor. Let's go to Karlach. It's going to be whatever's on your armor. You see this says 17 armor class. Okay? Plus whatever plus bonus you have from your dexterity, which for Karlach is 0. But this armor, you can see, it doesn't allow you to get a dexterity from bonus. It doesn't allow you to get an AC bonus from dexterity because it's heavy armor. Okay? And then finally, it's going to add anything from gear. So Jasmine is a good example of that. She has 10, okay, from her armor. which is not armor. This is just clothes. 10 is the base for just like clothing that you wear. Then she has these bracers that it says gives a +2 bonus to armor class. Okay. And then for her, because she's a barbarian, her constitution is added to her armor class. That's specific to barbarians when they're not wearing armor. It should be here somewhere. I don't see it. That's where the other one's coming from. You see, 3 from Constitution, unarmored defense. Okay, that's the barbarian trait that allows it. Oh, right here, yeah, unarmored defense. Okay, and it says when you're not wearing armor, you add your Constitution modifier to your armor class. Okay, so for her, the Constitution modifier is 3. Right, she has 16 Constitution, so a +3. She adds that to the 10. Okay, and then she has 3 from the dexterity, right? And then she has 2 from the gloves. And so that altogether gives her 18 armor class. And what happens with an attack is, so for example, she gets the +11 here right now, or say Astarion was attacking Jasmine, he would get the +9. He would roll a 20-sided die, he would add 9 to whatever he rolls, and then it has to be higher than the target's armor class. So if he was trying to hit Jasmine, it would have to be higher than 18. If someone was trying to hit him right now, it would have to be higher than 17. Okay? These guys, if we examine them, they have an armor class of 16. Okay, so for Astarion, he has a +9 on his chance to hit. So with a 9 and the 16 here, he has to roll at least a 7 on a 20-sided die to hit this guy. If he rolls lower than a 7, he'll miss. Okay, so the higher the armor class, the more likely that people just miss you when they try to hit you. Okay, that's your melee spells or your attack spells. I guess melee is not quite accurate. It's your attack spells with like weapons and things like that. Your bow works the same way. For spells, it's a little bit different. It's very similar, but it's a little bit different. You see Astarion has some wizard spells here as I have them set up. And so for that one, you get an attack roll, which is you roll your 20-sided die, just like you do with your weapons. You add your casting stat, is what I'm going to call it, but your main stat. So this one that has a star, this one's going to dictate your ability with spells, and it's different based on your class. He's a wizard, so it's intellect for him. Shadowheart here is a cleric, so it's wisdom for her. But you add this bonus, so say +3 for her. For him, see, he's at 17, that's still only a +3. He hasn't hit 18, it's not a +4. So he'll add a +3 to an attack roll. Okay, and then any proficiency that he has, which is rarer for spells. Okay, and so that's what's going to dictate whether or not, say, a spell like this that it says operates on attack roll. You see the spell says attack roll. That's how it works. Roll a 20-sided die, add this bonus to it, this int bonus to it, and then see if it's higher than their armor class, just like your weapons. Okay. For ones that have a spell save, something like this. Okay, see this says dex save instead of attack roll. This one says attack roll. This one says dex save. When it has a save on it, your proficiency in it or your chance to hit, you take 8 plus your proficiency in the spell plus your casting stat. Okay, so once again, it's intellect for him. Okay, and then anything on gear that says it adds plus to your saving throw DC or something like that. This early in the game, I don't think there is stuff like that. I don't think any of my characters have anything like that. Yeah, they don't. So it's not there here, but gear can add that. It's rarer than having like the plus attack that like the weapons have, but it can be there. And then what the target does, the person getting hit by the spell, when it's something like this with a saving throw, is they roll a 20-sided die, and then they add their ability modifier, so dexterity in this case. So if we throw it at this guy, for example, he would roll a 20-sided die. He has 12 dexterity, so he would add 1 to whatever he rolls. And for Astarion, he's going to have 8 plus his intellect modifier, right? So that's going to push it to 11. And so this guy is going to have to roll higher than an 11 on a 20-sided die to save the throw, okay, just to negate the spell. And negating the spell for something like a fireball means that you take half damage. You see it says right here on save, targets still take half damage. Okay. For some spells on save, it means nothing happens. And for something like, I know Shadowheart's got to have something like this. Okay. It's a wisdom save, so it's going to be their wisdom modifier that is added to it. Wisdom is the most common thing for saving things that like stop you from controlling your character, or oftentimes even take damage from spells. Wisdom is the most common spell save that you see, which is a good thing to take note when you're making your characters. But in this case, the wisdom save, it just makes you not take damage, right? It doesn't say anything special happens when you save it. If you save, you don't take damage. So spell hit is generally a lot lower than your weapons. Often we have our weapons hitting at a much higher rate than our spells. Okay?
Still on my feet.
All right, and then, the last thing I wanted to mention is for Astarion here, he has a good example on his gear. It says here you have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavily obscured targets. That means people that are standing in the shade or standing in shadows. Advantage means you roll 2 dice and take the higher number. So his attack roll, he's going to get to roll 2 dice and take the one that's better, which is great, right? Obviously, you get then 2 chances to have a high enough roll to hit somebody. And disadvantage, if something says it gives disadvantage, it means you roll 2 die and you take the lower, okay? So advantage is obviously really good for hitting people, and disadvantage is really good for protecting yourself. Putting disadvantage on people is really good for protecting yourself, okay? So that's how basic attack and defense works, right? You want your AC up. You have your spell save DC. If you can have things that improve that. I think these characters are still too new to have things that improve their spell save. Yeah. Oh, so this says disadvantage. Roll 2 dice and take the lower when she's trying to sneak. Because she's wearing big heavy armor. If she's trying to sneak and she has to roll dice for a check on sneaking, she'll have to take the worst roll because she has big heavy armor.
No choice but to keep going.
This one says anytime you're doing a dexterity saving throw, you get a +1 bonus. And you can jump further. This one... Oh, it doesn't say it. This one gives advantage when you're like lockpicking and things like that. Anyway. So, that's the basic idea. Armor class and saving throws to defend yourself. And then your on hit to decide whether or not you can hit somebody. And then when you hit them, you roll up these damage die to see how hard you hit them. Okay? So, those things are the basic things that you're keeping in mind when you are putting together a build. So, let me show a couple builds like as an example. Let's start with Karlach. Karlach is a fighter, okay? And I made her a battle master. When you get to take a feat, I took alert, okay? So Karlach, the idea is you see her AC is high. I think it's the highest on the team. Astarion's is about to be higher, but it's the highest on the team. What she wants to do is go right up and stand in people's face, okay? And so she wants a high AC so she doesn't just get killed when she goes and stands in people's face. She has no dexterity here because I knew I was going to have her wear heavy armor, or she has no dexterity bonus here because I know that she's going to wear heavy armor. And when you wear heavy armor, it says no AC bonus from dexterity. That's always the case with heavy armor unless you find some kind of very special heavy armor set. But generally you can't get an AC bonus from dexterity when you're wearing heavy armor, okay? And so when it came time to take a feat for her, I took alert because it adds that +5 bonus to initiative, and it makes it so she can't be surprised. If you're surprised the first round of combat, you don't get to do anything. But the biggest thing here is the initiative, because I want her to be able to go up and get in their face right away. So I want her to be first or close to first when combat starts, and this allows her to do that, okay? And then the game AI is usually clever enough that it doesn't want to just pour attacks into somebody that has IAC because they know they're just going to miss over and over again. And so her abilities, this menacing attack makes them frightened, which doesn't let them move, so they can't get away from her. And this goading one tells them that they have to attack her or they have disadvantage attacking someone else. So they'll have to roll 2 dice and take the worst roll to attack someone else, meaning they're very likely to miss if they attack anyone but her. Okay? So basically, when she hits them with this goading thing, it's really hard for them to hit her, but because she hit them with that, they also have a hard time hitting with anybody else. Okay? But you can see on this thing is an attack roll for the damage, but it's a wisdom save for the effect. So whether or not they get goaded, it'll say goaded on their head, if this thing actually works, is based on their wisdom. So if I was attacking this guy, or this guy, you see his wisdom is 14, he has a +2, so he'll roll a die, a 20-sided die, add 2 to his roll, and then it's going to have to be higher than Karlak's 8 plus her like attacking stat, her strength. Okay, so she's going to get a 4 bonus to the 8, so she's going to have a 12. So he's going to have to roll a 10. Right? He had a +2 or +1 or +2. So he's going to have to roll at least a 10 on a 20-sided die. So there's about a 50-50 chance that he actually gets goaded when I hit him with this attack. Okay, but that's the idea. She has high AC. She runs in. She's going to try to force people to attack her or not run away from her. Okay. And let me bring her in. I'll tell you a strategy thing is oftentimes you can jump further than the movement cost of jumping. You see jumping costs 3 meters, but Karlak has the ability to jump 9 meters. So I'm getting like 6 meters of movement by using my bonus action. Okay. And then I can run up to this guy and stand next to him. And he's blinded because of the mace that she has, but what I really wanted to show is if you look at him, he's threatened now. And it means he has disadvantage on ranged attack rolls. So if there's like a mage or an archer or something, you go up and you stand next to him with a character like this, and then they have disadvantage if they try to still shoot a bow or cast a spell or something while they're standing next to you. Okay? That's the idea of her build. His build, we're also going to put those like basic stats together, right? So he is a blade singer. It's a kind of wizard that uses both melee weapons and spells. So you see he has high dexterity for the use of the melee weapons, right? And he uses finesse weapons because dexterity. The high dexterity gives him a good armor class because it's added here. And then he has intellect here for his spell casting, which I kind of cheesed by just putting this thing on. This thing gives him 17 intelligence no matter what his intelligence actually is. So I put this thing on him to give him the intelligence to be able to hit with some of his spells. Okay? Blade Singer has this blade song that you go into. It's kind of like enraging for a barbarian at the start of a fight. We go into this blade song, and you see it lasts 10 turns. It also says it's going to increase our armor class by 3, give us more movement, and gives us advantage in acrobatics checks, and +3 on constitution saving throws. So wizards generally don't want to stand next to people and fight. They get killed really fast, and this gives all the stuff you need to be able to stand next to people and fight and not get killed. So you see when he puts his blade song on, his AC is 20. He's now the hardest person to hit on the team, which allows him to go in and stand next to people and fight, okay? And then he can also cast spells. And then this thing accumulates these stacks. It says, it doesn't really show the stats. The blade song, right here, blade song charges. So when you hit with a weapon, you accumulate a healing charge, and when you hit with a spell, you accumulate a damage charge. So I'll show that in a second when we actually start fighting. But that's the idea behind him. He's a wizard that does kind of both things. I made him dexterity, knowing that dexterity double dips. It helps his defense by improving his AC. And then if I have him use finesse weapons, it'll also help his melee ability, right? And he has kind of too many things going on to touch everything. If I had to do strength, then his AC would be low. And when he ran in to stand next to people, he would probably get his ass kicked because all the weapon attacks that people throw are going to land. And they're going to beat him to death, okay? So this, making him concentrate on finesse weapons, means that I can have his AC high and his attack high. He has to use finesse weapons, which usually aren't quite as strong as strength weapons. But I have him dual wielding them. And then I can have both int and dex to cast spells and attack with weapons, right? The limiter on this is that you can't have everything, so it helps a lot in a build like this to double dip, knowing how dexterity works and knowing how you can dip into many things. And then he has this spell that gives him AC mage armor, but it requires you to not wear armor. Okay, you have to wear clothes like this. They just have this 10 armor class. Okay, so it can't say down here, it can't say light, medium, or heavy armor. You see, if you look at
I'm ready.
Shadowheart here, her thing says medium armor down here. The clothes that he wears can't say anything like that to have this mage armor still work. Okay, so that's how he works. We're understanding the way stats work in the game, knowing that we can double dip into dexterity to make him both more durable and more dangerous. Okay, and we built him accordingly. And then the last one that we'll look at real quick, just as another example, is Jasmine. Jasmine is a barbarian. She's a Path of the Giant barbarian. And so she's going to use strength for her damage, but she wants dexterity for her defense, and she also wants constitution because of that unarmored defense thing that we mentioned earlier. Okay, so she's getting 3 AC from dexterity and 3 AC from constitution, which is also giving her a lot of health. You see she has the most health on the team as well. And then what's going to happen is she's going to throw her weapon. Okay, and so we took this feat in here, Tavern Brawler, that says when you make an unarmed attack, which she's not going to use an improvised weapon, which she's not going to do, or throw something, right? She's going to be throwing stuff like every turn. Your strength modifier is added to the damage and attack rolls an additional time. So what happens is the attack roll is this, your chance to hit, and her strength is giving her +4. With that Tavern Brawler thing, it gets added twice, so she actually gets a +8 from strength, which means that she almost always hits people when she throws her weapon. Okay? And then for the damage, right, on here, this damage profile says she's going to get a +4 for strength, but because of the Tavern Brawler thing, it's going to be added twice. So she's going to get a +8, so she's going to do extra damage there, too. And then she has AC from gear because she wants to be durable, although the durability is less important now that she can throw things because she's a ranged character. She still wants to have some durability so she can survive some attacks. And then this thing, the wearer gains a 1d throw bonus, or 1d4 bonus to throw damage, means we're going to roll one 4-sided die. Okay, 1d4 or 1d6 or 1 whatever means one 4-sided die. Okay, one die with 4 sides. This one would be 2 die with 6 sides, right? That's going to be added when she throws things, which she's always going to do, right? And this is called, usually I hear people call these riders. They're like ride-alongs for certain kind of damage, okay? So she has this thing to add on to her damage as well. And so everything is built around the fact that she is going to do throw damage, okay? Everything is set up so that when she throws her weapon and it hits people, she does big damage with it, okay? So that's her setup. And then let's go, right before we start attacking people, let's get into strategy a little bit, okay? So there's these 5 guys, and we have 4 guys, or, oh, sorry, I said 5. 7. There's these 7 guys, and we have 4 guys, okay? But we can kind of think about it as like 2 teams, and I have this thing up to make just a simplified example of what's going on here, okay? So we have here 2 teams, okay? We have red for bad guys, blue for good guys, and in our example, we can think about it as these 2 blobs are going to attack each other. Our good guy blob has 150 HP total for the team, 6 actions, and is going to do 25 damage per action, okay? The bad guy blob has 275 HP, 7 actions, and they're also going to do 25 damage per action. So if we look at this, if we just take our 6 actions, right, we'll do 150 damage. They'll be alive. They'll take their 7 actions. They'll do 175 damage, and they'll kill us. Okay? So that's assuming everything hits. Okay? So the first thing about strategy is you win by having more successful actions. Okay? That's actions that actually land, right? Attacks that actually hit. Spells that actually hit their target. Things like that. So to have successful actions, that goes into all those stats and things that we talked about. That's your armor class. That's your saving throws. That's your chance to hit with your weapons, right? You want your actions to be successful, right? A missed weapon attack is the same as just not doing anything with that action, right? So you want your actions to be successful, and you win by having more successful actions than the other team, right? So if we hit all 6 of our actions and do our 150 damage, and they have, say, low chance to hit, they only hit 5 of their actions, they'll do 125, right? And then when we go again, if we hit all 6 of our actions again, we'll kill them, and we've won the fight, okay? Even though, if you just look at the health and the actions, we have a big disadvantage, right? So we want successful actions, okay? But it's not so simple. Each of these teams isn't one big blob, right? We know that's not the case. Our team isn't one big blob. Their team isn't one big blob. They're little people, right? And so this is where it comes in. We want successful actions, but I'm going to refine that term and say we want effective actions. We want actions that do things. And so you have things that can make say somebody lose control of a character, so I can stop a character from moving for a handful of turns or something like that. If that's the case, I start reducing actions on the other team, right? So if I hit this guy with say like hold person, that's a spell that doesn't allow this person to move for as long as I maintain it with concentration. Okay? Concentration is a spell that you have to like keep thinking about. Your character has to keep thinking about. Let me go back to the game. Let me go back to the game and show you. For example, if you've been watching the run, I always bless at the start of a fight. And bless is a concentration. That means Shadowheart has to keep thinking about it. She can't use other concentration spells, like, for example, Spirit Guardians. She can only use one concentration at a time. And anytime she gets hit, she'll have to do a saving throw, like we talked about, a spell saving throw, for Constitution. So she'll make a spell saving throw that's based on her Constitution, which in her build is why she has a good Constitution here. And then I take this Warcaster thing, which says it gives advantage, so she gets to roll twice every time that happens to take the better roll, which makes her more likely to keep concentration. If she wins the saving roll, she holds her concentration and maintains the spell. If she fails the saving roll, she has her concentration interrupted and the spell drops. Okay? So that's every time she gets hit. She'll have a roll like that to maintain it. The reason I use Bless, now that we talked about the stats, you can see you get a 1d4 to your attack rolls. Okay, so you roll a 4-sided die and your saving throws. So it's helping you hit people and it's helping you defend yourself from spells and things. So that's why this spell is so good. It's helping both attack and defense. But she has to maintain it, and you can see a 1 to 4 on, say, Asterion, whose normal attack is a +9. You're adding almost half to this if you get the best roll, 4, but you're still adding a little more than 10%, even if you just roll a 1 on it, okay? So you're adding a good amount to his plus attack. 10% of this number, not 10% of his chance to hit. Okay, rolling a 1 is more like adding like a 5 or 6% chance to hit. Okay, so hold person is a concentration spell that doesn't allow this person to move or take actions. Okay, which means these 2 actions on that round as we go through everybody here, when it comes up to their turn, let's say we had hold person on this guy. He's not a person, but if we did have something like that on him, when it came to him, he wouldn't get to use his actions. Okay, it would just skip his turn and move on. And so if we're doing something like that, then this 7 actions becomes only 5. And now our team has a clear advantage, right? We have more actions. So effective actions limit the other team in some way. And you can take advantage of the fact that the other team is not some big blob, because this kind of lopsided thing where they have more HP and more actions than you do is very common in games like this. In Baldur's Gate 3 or Dungeons & Dragons or whatever you're playing. It's very common. So that's where initiative comes in. Okay, initiative is incredibly important, especially in this game. It's really, really important to go first. Okay, I want to go before them, because if I go first, I could say, take this person, for example. Let's say this person has the highest initiative. They get 2 actions, they do 25 damage. Let's say they go and they hurt this person. Sure, you did 50 damage. You took 50 damage off the big blob, right? But then they still let's say everybody hits this person. They take 150 damage off. They didn't kill anybody, and now the other team gets their 7 actions. Okay? Let's say this person gets to go first. They take their 2 actions, and let's say they hit them both, and they hit them both on this person. This person only has 50 HP. They're dead. Now this team permanently has 2 fewer actions. Okay? Now it's 225 HP, 5 actions, and 25 damage per action, compared to 156 actions and 25 damage per action, right? And then let's say the next person goes. And they still don't attack this big guy, because they can't kill him, but they know they can kill this guy, and so they use their 2 actions to kill this guy. Now they took another 2 actions from the other team. Now the other team's down to 175 HP, only 3 actions per turn, and 25 damage per action. Now, even though it's 175 HP versus 150, it's a huge disadvantage because 3 actions is only half of the 6 actions that this team has, okay? So, if you can go first and have effective actions where you remove something from the other team, you reduce the power of the other team, you start to swing things in your advantage enormously, okay? And this goes on for every round of the fight. In every round, if there's someone that I can kill and take actions off the field, I should probably do that. Most of the time it's worth it to then do that and have that person not around in the fight anymore, okay? And the idea of effective actions then, when I'm picking who I'm going to take off the field, who my target should be, then comes back to, is this person like, say there's fights where there's like rats or bats, and they have like 1 or 4 HP, and they do little bites on you. They're not really doing anything, right? Versus like if there's a wizard that could cast that hold person on one of your guys or something like that, right? Or somebody that could do enough damage to really hurt one of your guys or kill one of your guys. That person is much higher priority than the rat because that person represents effective actions for the other team, okay? So what I want to do is take actions off the field for the other team. If possible, take the most effective actions that I can off the field for the other team, okay? And reduce their HP to 0, keep in mind above 0. But the best way to do that is to stop their actions and take my actions, okay? So, let's finish by just getting into the fight. Let's use the builds that we have. We put on his Blade Song, so he's ready to run in here and fight, okay? We're going to have him go in here. We're going to have him throw a fireball, so it's going to be dex save for these guys to not get hit. You see when I throw the fireball, I pick where it's going to go, and they get a little outline if it's going to hit them. Okay, so I can kind of target, like, if I throw it here, it'll hit those 2 guys. Here, it'll hit those 2 guys. Here, those 2 guys. If I throw it, like, here, I'm hitting these 4 guys, right? But I can kind of decide who I'm going to hit, okay? So I'm going to throw my fireball right in here, hit all 4 of those guys. Okay? And my Blade Singer got this thing, the Blade Song damage charge. Okay? We'll make sure that we end the fight with the Blade Song climax thing here, and you'll see what it does. The climax thing is what uses these charges that we accumulate. Okay? And then I'm going to pass on my bonus action this time. You get the bonus action too. But I was going to Misty Step in, but I'm going to be able to walk up to these guys next turn anyway. So that's all I'm going to do for his turn. I'm going to throw the fireball. I did about half to each of those guys, okay? Going to, let's go to Karlach before we do Jasmine. Going to Karlach, this guy represents very effective actions against my team. And so rather than killing these guys, which might take a couple of hits, I'm actually going to try to goad this guy so that he has to attack Karlach. See, he's goaded now. Karlach also moved as far as she can already, so she can't hit these guys. And because I walked up next to this guy, I'm threatened, so using my bow would give me disadvantage, which would suck. And then Karlach's a fighter, so she gets another attack with her melee attack here. And we're going to see if we can fear him also. And we did. He's frightened. So you see now if we examine him, he is both goaded, which means that he'll have disadvantage if he attacks someone other than Karlach, and he's frightened, so he can't move, and he has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. So he's going to have disadvantage even attacking Karlach, who has high AC, which he was unlikely to hit anyway. He's basically out of the fight. He's going to try to do things. It's very unlikely he does anything particularly good. Okay? Karlach has this thing that will let her take another action. We're not going to use it yet. We're just going to keep it simple. Okay? Jasmine's a barbarian. We want to rage. Okay? That will increase our damage. We get another little rider on the damage. You see, Your rage damage is bonused. Or your rage bonus is doubled. Oh, here you go. Deals an additional 2 damage with melee and improvised weapons, and 4 damage when throwing objects. So she's going to get another little 4, what we call a rider, a little 4 bonus damage for throwing her weapon. We're going to walk her right up here, and then we're going to put this thing on it. This thing will let us choose what kind of spell damage goes on the weapon. This will add a little 6-sided die of spell damage to her thrown weapon. So we can examine them and see here resistances. You see they're resistant to poison damage, and they're resistant to slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning. So basically melee weapons. They're resistant to being hit by melee weapons. These guys, if we look, they're not resistant to anything. And then this bigger guy, where is he? Oh, up here. He is resistant to necrotic damage. So we wouldn't want to do necrotic damage if at all possible. They're not resistant to much, so let's just do lightning because it's fun. And then we're going to throw the weapon. And so to throw the weapon, we need to pick who's a good target. Well, we can take these guys off the field and just take actions away. They just don't get to attack people on their turn. So let's do throw damage, okay? And let's do... There's a chance I could kill this guy with 1 throw. Might be a good chance. I haven't looked at her damage, but I know I can kill these guys with a throw. So let's throw at them. Okay, killed him pretty easily. Let's throw at him. Killed him too. Okay, and that's my turn. So I'm just going to stop there and move on. He gets to go next. It's really unfortunate. He outrolled Karlach because Karlach's initiative right now sucks. And so he outrolled her, so we couldn't choose to use her before the other characters, right? We used Karlach first, even though she's third, because these guys were grouped. We can't do that with Shadowheart because this guy was in between. He fit in between these guys, so we had to wait for her. Now, unfortunately, she can't reach Karlach with her bless, okay? So, whatever. We're just going to bless these 3 in this fight. Really, we might have wanted to... I wanted to show the threatened thing, is why I walked Karlach up here. We might have wanted to keep her here and have her shoot her bow so that everybody could get blessed, but this is fine. We're going to do this, and then we're going to pass on our bonus action and just wait. So now the enemy team gets their turns. They're going to go after us because their initiative is worse. We see now, unfortunately... Okay, so riposte, this is a great thing to happen. Reactions allow us to do things when we're not on our turn, okay? Attacks of opportunity are really important. When you walk away from a character that has a melee weapon, they'll try to slap you with it when you go out of their range. That's a chance to attack when it's not your turn. So you don't use actions and can do damage, which is very powerful. In this case, Karlach, as a Battlemaster fighter, gets this riposte. When somebody attacks her and they miss, she can slap them back using one of her little special die that she gets as a Battlemaster. So we're going to do that. We're going to hit him back. And we missed too. We also saw when he came up, he brought one of these guys back to life. Okay, so that's something we learned about him, is that he can bring the little guys back to life, which makes him important to take down, because now we know taking these guys out of the fight doesn't necessarily take them out forever, because he can bring them back. Okay, Jasmine right now is threatened, and we want to throw things, so we're going to walk. We're even going to let him take his opportunity attack there. He missed it. Okay, she's no longer threatened, so let's do a little bit of damage. Let's throw... Oh, let's throw our sword at this guy. You see we have a 95% chance to hit. That's thanks to that tavern brawler, okay? And so we throw. Got him. And then we're going to do it again. This Path of the Giant thing is making the weapon come back to our hand. Oh, actually, this is a great chance to show a strategy thing, okay? Jasmine is very likely to hit him. She also does way more than 7 damage every time she throws this giant sword at people. So let's swap over for a second to Karlach and see if we look at Karlach, she'll do 10 to 15 damage with a slap, okay? So let's see if we can take this guy out with Karlach. Oh, he's resistant to bludgeoning damage, so she did half damage to him, okay? So we'll hit him twice and take him out, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and do this. That gives us an extra action. You see it brought one back. We're going to try to goad this guy. Got him. And then, oh, we're out of dice, so we can't fear him. Okay, but we do have our bonus action, so we can use one of Karlach's special abilities here. Okay, and we'll use this one, and you see our chance to hit him is very high. We got him, took some damage off. Okay, that's Karlach's turn. Let's use Asterion, and let's walk around here. Okay. Oh, see, we provoked an attack of opportunity by walking in and out of that guy's melee range. Okay, let's use his melee spell, so we'll attack this guy. We missed, unfortunately. Poke him, and then we'll try to poke him with the offhand weapon too. Okay, got some little hits on him. That's all of our actions used up. You see the melee attacks gave us this Blade Song healing charge. Okay.
What now?
And this guy, I goaded him. I didn't look at my dice before I did it. I should have hit him with the menacing to fear him. But this is still fine. We're going to throw our weapon like Jasmine does, and we're going to see if we can kill this guy with the 14 damage from throw. And we did. We got him no problem. And so we took not only actions off the field from the other team, but in this turn we took the other team's most effective actions, right? These guys can bring the little guys back to life. These guys have the most dangerous attacks. These guys have the ability to, it's called crowd control, but stop us from controlling our characters. So these guys have the most possible effective actions from the other team, and they're both gone now. Now all we have to do is take out these little guys with the rest of our actions to come, okay? So basically, chances of us winning this fight are now near 100%. We've basically won it already. It's just a matter of taking our actions from here. Okay, so our turn again. The cleric here, Shadowheart, is set up as a life cleric. That means she's not very threatening. We're just going to throw a fireball at somebody. This guy. We missed. That's unfortunate. Moving on. These guys are being blinded because Karlach's mace blinds undead. And they're undead. Blind gives them disadvantage when they try to attack us. So we're going to move Jasmine again because she's threatened, right? So we're going to move her out so she's not threatened. And then it's time to start throwing things. So let's throw her sword at this guy first. We do more than enough damage to kill him, right? But we're going to make sure he's dead. Because they're all together, I could have used Karlach because she does less damage and she probably still could have killed that guy. But we're okay. And then this guy, we'll see if we can one-shot him. We can. And then that's Jasmine's turn. Asterion here. So I could start to get to work on the big guy, right? He has 53 HP. He's going to take a little more to kill. Or I can come over here and see if I can take out this little guy. We're going to see if we can take out the little guy. Got a good damage hit there. Took him out, okay? So now he's off the field. Again, removing actions from the other team. Even though this guy is scarier, this at least takes actions off the team, whereas this guy wasn't going to be able to kill this turn anyway, okay? And then we can't bite him because he's undead, so let's stab him. Okay, that's our turn. And then Karlach's going to come over here, and we can hit him with Concussive Smash, see if it dazes him. It didn't, but we still hit him. And then we'll hit him with this. Just hit him with the slap. So we've been pretty effective about limiting the other team's ability to kind of fight back. So there's not a lot for the cleric to do. Nobody needs to be healed. Nobody needs to be buffed or protected or anything like that. So she's just going to chuck another fireball. She missed again. Offense isn't her strong suit. We're going to walk Jasmine over here. How much health does he have? 21? Oh, she might kill him if she throws a sword at him. So let's do Asterion first, and we'll show if you're a blade singer, this is the kind of payoff for the thing. Nobody's been hurt, unfortunately, so we don't get to show it very well. But when we use this, you see it's going to roll a 1d6 damage die for every stack of this buff, of the Blade Song damage buff, and it's going to roll a 1d6 healing die for every stack of the Blade Song healing buff. Okay? So you pick it and you jump to a spot, right? So jump here, you see Karlach, Jasmine, and the bad guy all light up. That means when I land, my healing stacks will hit Asterion himself, Jasmine and Karlach, and the damage stacks will hit the little ghoul. So when we jump, you see it hit everybody. It gives actually a pretty big heal. That like 20-ish heal that we got for just a few stacks is actually pretty big. So it can be really useful. You can use it in the middle of a fight if you have to, or you can use it to end a fight and like top everybody off. Either way, it's really nice. So it's the Bladesinger is a really interesting and fun class to play. But okay, now back to Jasmine. She is gonna throw her sword at this guy, and he's unlikely to live through it. And that's it. That's the fight. Okay? So we really didn't take any damage. That fight ended up not being very hard, even though it's set up so like these guys can bring these guys back to life. Their damage can add up. These guys can do a lot of scary things. But we approached it in a way where we really limited what the other team was able to do and won the fight pretty quick and easy. So hopefully this explanation today helps you start from the very beginning and understand the kind of combat mechanics of this game if they were a little opaque to you, or if you were trying to figure out a build that you want to do yourself. Understanding those mechanics can help a lot, and then hopefully the strategy helps you understand how you use those to win the fights in the game pretty easily. This was fun. I hope this was helpful to you guys. The game's amazing. Go out and try it yourself. Have a good day. Peace.